introduce this trip to Spokane. Okay, we're in Missoula, Montana. It's not even a 200-mile trip from here to Spokane. Okay, so I found out yesterday during my stream from one of my regular viewers who actually used to live in Spokane. The reason I always wondered why everyone calls us Spokane and not Spokane, and because when there's an E at the end, the A is supposed to have an A sound, not an ah or and. But turned out Spokane used to actually have no E at the end of the name, and then they added the E later on. So I gotta do some research into that and figure out why that changed, why the pronunciation didn't change. It was just thinking that maybe it just looked better or something. And chip the front end of my truck and all that. Just put a little walk around and get moving. Probably won't. I did find out there is indeed a check valve there in the fuel line. Actually, it's pretty easy to get to. It's in the main fuel filter. On the line that goes to the main fuel filter. So I'm thinking maybe maybe that's the problem. Doing pretty good about starting up after 2 tries. damn, you're up early. Alright. Without that. I'm going to go ahead and head up to the fuel island and clean my windshield before I roll out of here. We'll do just that. Yeah, so on the hard start issues, I did find out that there is indeed a check valve in the fuel lane. That is the common part that goes bad. So I might ask, I'll probably have somebody look at it. There's not a shop over at the Flying J, so maybe on the next load or something. I don't want to spend too much time here in Montana, or tell them, yeah, I'm in Montana. What are you doing out there in Montana? You're not supposed to be up there on 90. Well, I am. You guys aren't supposed to pay me to take that Montana route either. But you are. Creep up there to the fuel island and watch my tandems. Sure, tandems on the back of my trailer. Make sure I stay clear of this guy over here on my blind side, and didn't have to worry much about trailer swing, but it's just good habit. Always check that. You can never get too careful about that. Yeah, you get even the least bit complacent, that's when things go wrong. Is that Wilson? Yeah, Wilson Trans, Bobtail. Alright, I've already ran in, got myself done all my, my hygiene and drink and food and whatever. Just gonna wash, clean my windshield, and then we'll be out of here. Get my A-pillar away from these. I like to get my A-pillar past everything, so I don't have such a hard time getting work to have them on to work with on the sides. I need to do a semi-reefer status check. Yes. Yardbird. Yeah, I've been in this trip at the Flying J in Spokane. Yeah, I know everyone calls it Spokane, but I know how to spell and I know linguistics, so it's supposed to be Spokane the way it's spelled. You know, I did find out from El Jefe yesterday that I don't think I missed a spot there, but it's alright. So apparently Spokane used to have no E at the end of it, and it was pronounced Spokane, rightly so with that spelling. And at some point in time, they added the E to the word, to the name, whatever, but they never changed the pronunciation. So I find very peculiar. So I'm gonna look that up later on. Maybe at the end of the stream we'll look it up just for the hell of it. They have squeegees that they use here are narrower than what I'm used to seeing. Easier time getting over there this time. The guys who were watching yesterday, I was shocked at how much traffic there was in Montana. Like, where the hell are these people coming from? There's barely even 1 million people in the entire state, and it's a huge state. Yeah, and then I find out that I think a lot of them had Washington plates, so they were probably just Washington people going home from their weekend outings. I just thought it was funny because who knew that Montana, of all places, could possibly have anything remotely resembling traffic. I mean, it was moving fine. It was just constantly somebody there to be in your way, probably is what it really amounts to to me. I need to turn that brightness down. Yeah, the more north you get, and particularly during the summer solstice here period, which was just a couple days ago, actually, or yesterday. Whatever. Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, it's really not unexpected. So if you think about it, like in Alaska, summer solstice, they get like 21 hours of daylight. I've personally been there and seen it. Like in Anchorage. I was there at Elmendorf Air Force Base. The sun would start to come out at about 4 a.m. and it never actually really set. It went down, you can call it, at about 1 a.m. And it got relatively dark, but relatively dark means, I don't know, about what I see right now, maybe even a little bit brighter, is about as dark as it got. Yeah, I'd say about where it's at right now, something like that. It's been several years since I've been there, but yeah, I never actually got like dark like like most of us here in the continental states are used to. And in the winter solstice, you get a lot more darkness. More hours of darkness and not so much sunlight. And then the more equatorial you get, so when you live closer to the equator, you don't get so much that wild swing between how much daylight you get at sunrise about a 95-mile trip now from here to the Idaho border. And we'll have about a 70-mile trip across Idaho, from what I recall. It's been a few years since I've been up this way, but I recall Idaho being about 70 miles across at the Panhandle. And then it'll be a short trip once we're in Washington to get to the Flying J's. Smells like skunk here. Somebody must have ran one over. Alright, non-driveways inspection site 2 miles away. That is one of the things I do like about this driveways. In general, we're not, most of us seem to not be fans of driveways. We tend to prefer pre-pass. At least from the people I know who have talked about it, but it does have, it is kind of nice where, like, if I'm in an unfamiliar area, like right here, I don't remember where the way stations are. And this thing's already alerting me that I'm coming up on one before I'm even seeing signs for it. And now there are other areas, like when I was getting on when I was on I-15 still, I think it was. Not long before I got on 90, there was a spot there I recall where it actually warned me there was a high collision area from people running off the road because this bridge. Follow road signs. It's probably closed at this hour, but yeah, it's closed. Anyway, going down a hilly curve on 15, and then there's a bridge down there, and then the southbound lanes curve toward you at the same time because it's like an S turn. And there's a bridge down there, if I remember it correctly. And in the winter conditions, of course, bridges tend to ice before the road, so what happens is as people go across that bridge and lose and slip out of control and end up crossing into the median and sometimes into the opposite directions. Area of travel. And the driveway thing actually alerts you that, hey, this is a high collision area right here because of the ice. This traffic is so much nicer now. It's hard to believe I'm even saying that about Montana, but seriously, you get like one knucklehead who's driving just a slight bit slower than you, and then you get railroaded by by other traffic. It gets annoying. Now there's just nobody out here except for me. Where's the car back there about 3/4 mile behind me, half mile behind me, whatever. Probably catch me pretty quickly, actually. Yeah, we'll start getting some daylight really soon here, because I'm already seeing hints of daylight in front of me, and I'm facing west. be kind of a wavy and hilly route pretty much all the way into Spokane. Now we'll have these rolling curves and hills, whatever. Well, some mountain, a little bit of mountainy too, but I don't think they're very big, if I remember right. I think there were some grades in Idaho. Thought that car was going to catch me faster than it did. He's still gaining on me, but he's not catching me nearly as quickly as I thought he would. They have a 10 mile an hour split speed limit here, 80 for cars and 70 for trucks. Alright, now he's moving over to pass me. Recently on Facebook how he didn't like hillbillies, and then a movie that he watched on Amazon reminded him of why he didn't like hillbillies. So they said in the movie it was called I Walk the Line. And I thought this movie would be about Johnny Cash or something because of the name of the movie. And it turned out it's the only thing it has at all to do with Johnny Cash is that his music is used in it, but otherwise it's completely, the plot of the movie has nothing at all to do with Johnny Cash. More about a small town sheriff he's buried himself and favor looking for where the moonshining is coming from. And then, of course, everyone. It's an okay movie, I guess, but it does split over by Wyoming. How you doing, John? And it's 61. Hard. Hopefully be out of the area well before then. I'll unfortunately be there until Wednesday, most likely, but yeah, hopefully I'll be reloading on sometime Wednesday and heading back out of the area. It's bad enough I'll probably be doing a 34-hour reset and then some before I deliver.
planning an EMP attack on the U.S., expert Peter Fry claims in op-ed Heavy.com, yesterday. Peter Fry, an expert in electromagnetic pulse weapons, known as EMPs, posted an op-ed on June 18 in The Hill stating that China might be planning an EMP attack on the U.S. He said in the opinion piece that the country is vulnerable to such an attack. Fry states the COVID-19 pandemic outlined significant weaknesses in U.S. planning and preparation for civil defense protection and recovery.
I don't have a clue where Lolo Pass is because I'm never out here, but
preparing for
I'm at the 53-mile marker right now.
To competently cope with the coronavirus outbreak. In his article, Fry also points to the ongoing cold civil war in the U.S., specifically the anarchists and criminals infiltrating recent protests. He then states that for the last quarter century, China has been planning an EMP attack on the U.S. in a Pearl Harbor type of cyber attack. Fry was the chief of staff to the Congressional EMP Commission and was a staffer on the House Armed Services Committee, according to his biography on the Hill website. Fry has also authored several books, including most recently, The Power and the Light, the Congressional EMP Commission's War to Save America 2001-2020, published earlier this year. Fry has faced criticism of overstating the risk EMP weapons pose to the U.S. from other military and foreign policy experts. Jeffrey Lewis wrote in 2013 for Foreign Policy that the EMP threat is being pushed by mainly fear-mongering conservatives who warned of nuclear attacks during the Cold War. Lewis wrote, "Enter the EMP threat." Having dug themselves into a hole on nuclear weapons issues, EMP advocates think they have another shot at winning the foreign policy argument. If the mortal threat posed by nuclear weapons doesn't favor policies that emphasize our apartness from the wider world, what if a nuclear weapon were detonated way out there in the blue? So what is EMP and what would an EMP attack look like? Here's what you need to know about Fry's article on EMP attacks. EMP weapons use pulses of energy to damage electronic and electrical equipment. EMPs are electromagnetic pulses of energy, that can travel through the sky at high speeds. There are three main ways that EMP can be emitted. Forbes outlined in 2019, through the blast of a nuclear weapon, natural phenomenon like a solar flare, or through a man-made portable weapon like a high-power microwave weapon, HPMW. A powerful EMP can affect the Earth's magnetic field and damage electronic and electrical equipment, including computers, cell phones and transmission lines. Worse, it can impact critical communications infrastructure, and due to the way the U.S. electric grid is designed, small-scale attacks can lead to cascading failures across the whole country, affecting everything from food, water and public health to dams and nuclear reactors. According to an internal memo by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission quoted by the EMP Task Force, destroy 9 interconnection, transformer, substations and a transformer manufacturer and the entire United States grid would be down for at least 18 months, probably longer. The EMP Task Force on Homeland and National Security is a non-governmental organization whose goals are to educate the American people about EMP threats and advocate for policy changes to boost the country's preparedness. It's made up of citizens, engineers, field experts, and others, with Dr. Vincent Fry as the executive director. Fry states that despite last year's executive order designed to boost the electric grid and other critical infrastructures, no steps have been taken. In Fry's op-ed, he explains that he warned the U.S. government back in 2005 about the risk of an EMP attack. He shares an excerpt of China's military strategy that points to the U.S. vulnerability. It could be regarded as the Pearl Harbor incident of the 21st century if a surprise attack is conducted against the enemy's crucial information systems by such means as electronic warfare, electromagnetic pulse weapons, telecommunications interference and suppression, computer viruses, and if the enemy is deprived of the information it needs as a result. The excerpt continues. Even a super military power like the United States, which possesses nuclear missiles and powerful armed forces, cannot guarantee its immunity. In their own words, a highly computerized open society like the United States is extremely vulnerable to electronic attacks from all sides. This is because the U.S. economy, from banks to telephone systems and from power plants to iron and steel works, relies entirely on computer networks. Despite that order, Fry says that the federal government, specifically the Department of Energy and the Department of recently released a full report on the EMP threat from China. The EMP Task Force states on its website that it is concerned about the vulnerability of our electrical grid and other critical infrastructures and the danger that it poses to our children and families. It says that the U.S. power grid crashing is a very real threat, and according to their experts, 70–90% of Americans would die in the first year after the power grid is destroyed. A full report issued by the task force on June 10 says that China has long known about nuclear high-altitude electromagnetic pulse, HEMP, and invested in protecting military forces and critical infrastructures from HEMP and other nuclear weapon effects during the Cold War, and continuing today. A HEMP is a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse created by a nuclear explosion in space. In fact, Fry says that China has HEMP simulators and offensive and defensive programs that are much more robust than the U.S. The Chinese military doctrine views HEMP attacks as a type of cyber attack and the most likely kind of future warfare. But in his 2013 op-ed in Foreign Policy, Jeffrey Lewis criticized the studies by the task force. The solution of the EMP Commission was simply to collect more data, essentially creating laundry lists of things that might go wrong. For example, the EMP Commission exposed 37 cars and 18 trucks to EMP effects in a laboratory environment. While EMP advocates claim the results of an EMP attack would be planes falling from the sky, cars stalling on the roadways, electrical networks failing, food rotting, the actual results were much more modest. Of the 55 vehicles exposed to EMP, 6 at the highest levels of exposure needed to be restarted. A few more showed nuisance damage to electronics, such as blinking dashboard displays. Lewis added, "For those of us who see the United States as part of the world, nuclear weapons mean an end to the illusion of isolation and invulnerability. We are a member of the family of nations. Unlike many families, we don't like all our relatives. But we don't get to skip Thanksgiving. Nuclear weapons, like climate change, pose a shared danger to all nations and compel us to set aside our petty national differences." Fry is an EMP expert who has a long background in national security issues. According to his bio on the EMP Task Force website, Fry began his career in national security in the 1980s when he served as an analyst at the U.S. Arms Control and Disarmament Agency, focusing on Soviet compliance with treaties. From 1985 to 1995, he worked as an intelligence officer in the CIA and was tasked with analyzing Soviet and Russian nuclear strategy, operational plans, military doctrine, threat perceptions, and more. Fry, 66, established the Congressional EMP Commission and helped it develop plans to protect the U.S. from EMP attacks in collaboration with senior scientists who first discovered the nuclear EMP phenomenon. He wrote many books and articles on national security and serves as the director of the United States Nuclear Strategy Forum. Fry has frequently spoken out about the necessity of the U.S. being prepared for an EMP weapon attack. In 2019, he warned North Korea could wage an EMP attack on America and that technology would be quicker to develop than nuclear weapons feared by most in the U.S. In 2015, Fry warned an EMP attack could claim 9 out of 10 American lives, according to the Daily Advertiser. Fry said Americans would die from starvation, disease and societal collapse. His concerns were echoed by Ambassador Henry Cooper, the former director of the Strategic Defense Initiative. He told the newspaper, "Our governmental systems are broken in dealing with these issues, I believe so dysfunctional that people locally have got to learn to deal with the issues." In 2010, Lisa Butt, an atomic scientist, wrote about EMP weapons in the Space Review, criticizing the takes by experts like Fry. Butt wrote, "The precise effects of nuclear EMP are difficult to predict but depend on, among other factors, the yield of the weapon, the detonation altitude, as well as upon the geographic latitude and the magnitude of the local geomagnetic field. Knowing the type of adversary who may entertain such an attack allows us to narrow down the sorts of weapons that may be employed, how they may be used, and thus the type of threat we possibly face." Simtak, a military expert, told Vice News in 2015, "It's not a work of fiction. It's an actual technology that exists. It's being played with in some capacity, and will potentially play a much greater role in future warfare. With the increasing importance of electronic circuits on the battlefield, there's only more and more reason to create weapons that specifically target networking ability and electronics dependence."
I mean, I hear some really good points there, but risk. one person really happens in the future.
Lolo Pass, Idaho, Montana, Wikipedia. For other uses, see Lolo, disambiguation. Lolo Pass. Historical marker sign in Idaho in 2007. US 12. Location: Idaho Co., Idaho, and Missoula Co., Montana, United States. Range: Bitterroot Range. Rocky Mountains. Coordinates: 46 degrees 3806 N 114 degrees 34, 48 W, 46.35. Location in the western United States. Lolo Trail. U.S. National Register of Historic Places. U.S. National Historic Landmark. Location: Bitterroot Mountains, Idaho, Montana. Coordinates: 46 degrees 3806 N 114 degrees 34, 48 W, 46.635 degrees N 114.580 degrees. Coordinates: 46 degrees 3806 N 114 degrees 34, 48 W, 46.635 degrees N 114.580 degrees W. Built: 1805. NRHP reference No. 66,309. Added to NRHP. October 15, 1966. Lolo Pass, elevation 5,233 feet, 1,595 m, is a mountain pass in the western United States, in the Bitterroot Range of the northern Rocky Mountains. It is on the border between the states of Montana and Idaho, approximately 40 miles, 65 km, west-southwest of Missoula, Montana. The pass is the highest point of the historic Lolo Trail, between the Bitterroot Valley in Montana and the Wheat Prairie in Idaho. The trail, known as Napnesaks, or Nez Perce Trail, in Salish, was used by Nez Perce in the 18th century, and by the Lewis and Clark expedition, guided by Old Toby of the Shoshone, on their westward snowbound journey in September 1805. After a winter at Fort Clatsop in present-day northwestern Oregon, the Corps of Discovery returned the following June. The Lolo Trail is a National Historic Landmark designated for its importance to the Lewis and Clark expedition, and its role in the 1877 Nez Perce War. The name of the pass is sometimes said to have been Salish version of the French name Laurence or Laurent, but was probably a regular French nickname. The name Lolo was not used by Lewis and Clark. Its first known mention is in the 1810 Journal of David Thompson, who described three fur trappers, probably of French descent, named Michael, Lolo, and Gregoire. The pass was also used in 1877 during the Nez Perce War as some of the Nez Perce under Chief Joseph tried to escape the U.S. Army. Shortly after crossing the pass, the two sides clashed at the Battle of the Big Hole in Montana. U.S. Highway 12, belatedly completed in 1962, crosses the pass. At the August dedication ceremony at Lolo Pass attended by thousands, the state's governors Bob Smiley of Idaho and Tim Babcock of Montana cut through a ceremonial cedar log with a two-man crosscut saw. Lolo Hot Springs is 7 miles, 11 km, east of the pass in Montana. The first limited services in Idaho are in Powell, 13 miles, 21 km, to the west of the pass, then another 65 miles, 105 km, to Lowell, at the confluence of the Lochsaw and Selway rivers to form the middle fork of the Clearwater. The primary city in Idaho served by US 12 is Lewiston, 170 miles, 270 km, west of the pass at the border with Washington, where the Clearwater meets the Snake. On March 1, 2014, the Idaho Department of Fish and Game announced that 23 wolves had been killed in the Lolo Pass area, in order to boost elk populations. Lolo Pass, Montana side, approaching Summit, westbound. Entering Montana from Lolo Pass. Lolo Pass Visitor Center. Forest fire near Lolo Pass, 2003. Idaho's Lochsaw River, west of Lolo Pass. Commas blooming at Packer Meadows, near Lolo Pass, Idaho. See also: List of National Historic Landmarks in Idaho. List of National Historic Landmarks in Montana. National Register of Historic Places listings in Idaho County, Idaho. National Register of Historic Places listings in Missoula County, Montana. References. AB, National Historic Landmark nomination for Lolo Pass. National Register of Historic Places. National Park Service. July 11, 2010. Tachini, Pete 2010. Celis Nyo Nunton, Medicine for the Salish Language, English to Salish Translation Dictionary, 2nd ed. Pablo, M.T., Salish Kootenai College Press. P. 374. ISBN 9781934.
Yeah, just reference info.
City of Oklahoma Press. pp. 11.
Yeah. That's bibliography stuff there. References. Exit 30, 2 Mile Road, 1 mile.
Clark Fork disambiguation. Clark Fork. Original name given by Lewis and Clark Expedition. Clark's River. The Clark Fork at Missoula, Montana. Map of the Clark Fork, its main tributaries and downriver connection to the Columbia River via the Pend Oreille River. Location. Country. United States. State. Montana, Idaho. Cities. Butte, Missoula. Physical characteristics. Source. Silver Bow Creek. Location. Butte, Silver Bow County, Montana. Coordinates. 46 degrees 4, 32, N 112 degrees 27, 56 W, 46.07556 degrees N 112.46556 degrees W. Elevation. 6,882 ft, 2,098 m. Second source. Warm Springs Creek, Montana. Location. Flint Creek Range, Granite County, Montana. Coordinates. 46 degrees 15, 39, N 113 degrees 812 W, 46.26083 degrees N 113.13667 degrees W. Elevation. 7,466 ft, 2,276 m. Source confluence. Location. Deer Lodge County, Montana. Coordinates. 46 degrees 11, 12, N 112 degrees 46, 18, W, 46.18667 degrees N 112.77167 degrees W. Elevation. 4,795 ft, 1,462 m. Mouth. Lake Pend Oreille. Location. Bonner County, Idaho. Coordinates. 48 degrees 11, 0, N 116 degrees 16, 9, W, 48.18333 degrees N 116.26917 degrees Coordinates, 48 degrees 11, 0, N 116 degrees 16, 9, W, 48.18333 degrees N 116.26917 degrees W. Elevation. 2,064 ft, 629 m. Length. 310 mi, 500 km. Basin size. 22,905 sqmi, 59,320 square km. Discharge. Location. Whitehorse Rapids near Cabinet, ID. Average. 21,930 Q/Ft/s, 621 cubic m/s. Minimum. 762 Q/Ft/s, 21.6 cubic m/s. Maximum. 195,000 Q/Ft/s, 5,500 cubic m/s. Basin featured.
Okay, so basically it feeds into the Columbia River, just like I thought it would. Saltese, 5 miles. couple miles ago. And I think I'm having fuel flow issues again. Speed limit I saw was 55, so until I see something higher, I'm not going to go faster. Oh, 60 now. Milan, population 692. You in a car or you in a truck? What part of the high side of the curve learn. I'm having no trouble keeping my truck and trailer in my own lane. I got a truck getting about to pass me right now, so I can look over my right side mirror. My tandem are at least a good foot away from that fog line. Morning, sick beer. All things I'm seeing from this guy in front of me suggests he's a rookie. That or he's an experienced driver with very bad habits. So he always favors the inside of the curve. That's what car drivers do, not truck drivers. They only stayed outside on that one because the truck was passing them. No cone down this. Shoulder closed. Morning, Jerry. Watch it on the inside. Watch this tandem's will actually so he'll encroach into the other lane. Looks like he also kind of favoring the right side of his lane, even on straightaways. Another sign of a driver who doesn't look at his mirrors very much. Wallace, Idaho, population 0. got, see, University of Idaho, University of Idaho is up here in Moscow.
Victorville, Caliph. BBNG.com, a motorcyclist injured in a Saturday night crash was airlifted to a trauma center. At about 8:45 p.m. Victorville City Fire were dispatched to a crash involving a vehicle and a motorcycle on Amargosa Road north of Roy Rogers Drive. Upon arrival, first responders located a blue Harley-Davidson motorcycle in the northbound lanes in the roadway along with the rider. Firefighters requested a helicopter to land at Victor Valley Global Medical Center and airlift the rider to an out-of-area trauma center. The vehicle involved in the crash, a four-door burgundy Saturn sedan with a damaged windshield, was stopped in the southbound lanes. The female driver remained at the scene and cooperated with police. She was not injured. The traffic on Amargosa Road was temporarily blocked in both directions while deputies investigated. Motorists were detoured through the Winco Shopping Center. By 9:25 p.m. a tow truck had arrived and was preparing to tow away the motorcycle. The official cause of the accident is under investigation by the Victorville Police Department. Anyone with information is asked to call 760-241-2911. To follow updates to this article and more,
Spelterville, 2 miles. bell counter. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I just got the top of 4th of July pass. lakeside homes here. Definitely don't have full power. Pretty good sized lake, isn't it? Well, it still goes for at least a few more miles to the west of me. Veterans Memorial Centennial Bridge. River or something, or what am I crossing over? Oh, okay, on a street. Exit 17, Milan Trail Road. I thought I was going to cross over. It makes a steep hill going down to the... Coeur d'Alene city limit. Population 44,000. Next 5 exits. Okay, I see how the lake curves around to the south over here, just off to my side now. Pretty big lake. get to Washington, or to get the way stations open, I'll probably get pulled in. Dealers will be in Spokane. I can get a check valve on my own, and then have a shop look at it. Maybe when either while I'm doing my 34, or maybe on my way to my next, after I pick my next load up. Should be good though. I just had them all replaced. The fact that I still have hard start issues and this going on tells me it's not the filters, it's something else. So I'm willing to bet it's a check valve. Yeah, having issues starting the truck, and now it's been giving me stop engine light problems on this shift. Whenever I'm going up hills and basically high fuel demand areas, the light comes on, and when I get down into lower fuel demand areas, it's kind of like it's limited on how much fuel it's able to supply. So it can't handle the peak fuel flow needs, but it can handle the lighter needs. I think we just need people who can do a better job of troubleshooting. I've seen way too much half-assed troubleshooting lately, and it's pissing me off. People do a better job of figuring out, diagnosing problems, I wouldn't be constantly in the shop. But shit, I'm not even a truck mechanic, and I figured out there's probably a check valve in there, and I looked it up while I was on my break last night, and hey, what did I know? What do you know? Sure enough, there really is a check valve there. pipe that's inside there, that port, basically lets the fuel come into the fuel filter area. There's a check valve right there at the top of that standpipe. Just have to pop it out and then put a new one in and put the filter back in and then prime it. That bird has some food in its leg, under its feet. It was a hawk or a falcon, I think it was a hawk that just flew over and looked like it had something small like a mouse or something in its talons. Alright, state line 4 miles away. Around this guy real quick. I don't have to jump out in the left lane. There's the Love's truck stop right up here on straight ahead. I've stopped there before. Also got Flying J here. I have half a motive to go and just stop here, but I don't think there's going to be a Peterbilt shop here, a Kenworth shop. Get over to Spokane, get my reefer fuel, and then I can take a look at where some Pete and Kenworth shops are. Spokane's a big enough city. There's got to be dealers there where I can get the parts I need from. Check valves, in my experience with aircraft, it depends on what kind of check valve they are, because there's one that's called it's type of a flapper valve, but this is the one that's on this one. On this is more of a spring-loaded. So what it is, there's a ball inside the valve, inside the housing. There's a spring that pushes it closed. So when you get the fuel flowing across it, it pushes down on the spring, and over time the spring wears out. It gets basically tired or worn out, whatever, to the point where it can no longer effectively push the ball into place to the seat to close off the opening. So what happens is when you don't have any fuel pressure or any fuel coming to the engine, what happens is the fuel that's on the other side of the ball starts backfeeding back into the fuel tank when it's not supposed to be able to do that. The check valve's there to prevent it from doing that. So for any of you guys, Liberty Lake, Washington, right in front of you. They're probably not even open right now. It's only 6 o'clock. Way station is open. Pretty much guarantee I'll get dragged into it. It's a non-drive-wise one, so whatever these signs say, that's what I'll have to do. I always get dragged into this one. Yeah, have to go in again. Kenworth dealer will work. I can get the part I need from there too. Peterbilt opens at 6:30. Alright, appreciate that. Yeah, I can always get to the Flying J in Spokane and then get my reefer fuel, and then I'm gonna go look for that Kenworth shop. Well, let's see where Kenworth is. I guess. Stop before crossing scales, alright? I will do that. Miles an hour. 11.6-ish. 33 something. Just over about 30,500. So Kenworth is right next to the Flying J. Well, that's the case. That's super convenient because then I can just park at the truck stop and walk over there or something. Park at the truck stop then and you just walk over there. Yeah, I got limited power here. I can tell that it doesn't want to accelerate as fast as it normally as it was earlier. Time to look at it themselves and replace it and whatever needs to be done themselves. It's not affecting my top speed, but it is affecting how fast I can accelerate. To be able to handle 4th of July pass, the climb up that better than I thought I would. Oh no, I'm not gonna hold Yeller to this truck. Let's hold Yeller all the damn technicians who do a shitty job of troubleshooting. It's a check valve. At least that's what my guess is. A fuel filter check valve. Country beast away. I'm gonna go ahead and call breakdown people you something. When my truck was at the dealer last time, and I told them that the power steering fluid was leaking, and they said, we can't find anything. Well, I'm not picking the truck up until you find something, because trust me, it's leaking. And then the guy decided, it could be going back into the engine. So we can always, if you're authorized, then we can take the power steering pump off and inspect in there. And of course, sure enough, what do you know? There was indeed a problem in there. Parker Road. I just filled it up yesterday, so something else going on with it. Oh, went back to green. Interesting. Alright, I'm gonna get a hold of my breakdown people and find out what's causing my MIO light. I'm sure it's fuel flow. Talking to the wrong guy there, because he's trying to tell me that they don't get much info. Actually get info from our trucks about what's going on. Like, bullshit, you don't. I know damn well you guys get data from our trucks, because I've been able to call them before, and they've told me, we're getting alerts about this or that code coming from your truck. Okay, I think Arbonne, whatever that street was called, I think it was the one that Google was trying to tell me to take to Safeway, and then the very next exit past that should be Broadway, which is where the Flying J is at, and Arbonne is coming up right now. I'm pretty sure Broadway is right after that one, right? Am I remembering correctly, El Jefe? then I guess drive around to where they're at, or see if they have time to look at it today, or if I should just get what I need, and well, I guess anytime today or tomorrow should be fine. And that shouldn't be any more convenient right there. Oh, light turned green for us. I probably can't even use my app to set up the fuel purchase here. Watch. Let's see. Wow, you gonna put me back in on duty or not? Shit. Come on, I'm not 5.88 miles away, asshole. Come on, set up my mobile fueling, shithead. I might actually be able to do it here. They actually don't have death here. Or at least I can't set it up on my app. Let's see. Alright. I actually got a code.
Do we know that there's no 56 footers over on the west side?
I think it might be over here.
But there is only one here.
Correct.
This pump here doesn't even have a numeric keypad on it. It's supposed to, but it doesn't. Let's go get parked. And then when Kenworth opens up, see what they can do for me. Sighted in right over here. See, I'm blindsided in over here to the corner. I'm gonna watch the back end of this guy over here on my left. Turn right away, but this truck is in my way. Go ahead. I just want to make sure I'm not going to run into you. Go for it, because I just want to make sure I'm not going to run into you. My left side's going to kick out toward you. I just want to make sure I'm clear of you. I'm going to get a little much articulation here. Now I can see around the. Now I can actually see this guy in my this red truck in my mirror. Sandwich like two walruses on the beach. They'll replace your truck with one of them electric self-driving ones. Yeah, fuck you. They're gonna get it now, Lisa. Alright, so I wanted to find out about the LFA was telling me yesterday about how Spokane became Spokane, spelling wise, but not pronunciation wise. I'm curious about that. When and why and how, whatever that all that happened. See if I can find some information on it. Spokane became an incorporated city in 1881. Back then, the city was known as Spokane Falls, without an E. The E was added in 1883, and Falls was dropped in 1891. The city suffered perhaps its biggest setback in 1889 when a fire ravaged downtown and destroying 32 blocks. Damn, 32 blocks, that's a lot. The new city hall was built at the southwest corner of Spokane Falls Boulevard and Wall Street in 1913. Alright, that's enough of your ass. Shut up. The 1920s era Montgomery Ward's building. Montgomery Ward's? Damn. Montgomery Ward is that the same company that I'm thinking of? The department store chain that went belly up back in the, 80s or 90s or 90s? 90s, I think. It was renovated then to house the city's offices. Old City Hall now is home to restaurants and shops. In 1974, Spokane hosted a World's Fair. Expo 74's lasting legacy is Riverfront Park. Once a highly used rail yard, the property was converted into a park to host the fair. The city of Spokane incorporated more than 125 years ago. We are the second largest city in the state of Washington. Wow. So it's actually bigger than Tacoma. I did not know that. website here. Founded in 1873 by James Nettle Glover, Spokane was first a small settlement known as Spokane Falls. It wouldn't be until 1883 that the E was added to Spokane, making the city known as Spokane Falls. In 1891, Falls was dropped. The natural resources of eastern Washington, fertile soil, timber, and mineral wealth eventually... Yeah, well, why did they add the E? That's what I'm trying to get to. And why don't they pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced? I mean, all I see is a little history on like that it actually happened in 1881 and 1883, whatever. What? The E was added in 1881 and then the Falls part was removed in 1883, but there's nothing explaining why that took place. Like, why not just leave it at Spokane Falls? Or Spokane, whatever. Some of the stupid things that people do. Yeah, that's my legacy. See, I'm the guy who got the E added to this freaking city name. That's my imprint in city history. That's what it is. We used to say a lot of the similar stuff in the... When I was in the Air Force, a lot of times commanders would come up with some stupid name change on something. Good example. When I first enlisted, they were what we called threat conditions. We called them threat con. Yeah, so threat con. And it was just an acronym for threat condition. And there are different levels of it. Threat con normal, alpha, bravo, Charlie, delta, whatever. And it basically tells you what the terrorist threat level is or attack threat level is at each installation. And they decided, years later, threat con 1 in your AO, how copy? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, when I was at March, though, at some point in time, someone decided, they needed some way to make their own legacy, so they said, hey, let's start calling this FP-Con now, Force Protection Condition, instead of Threat Con. Really? Who gives a shit? Why does this have to be like this? What was wrong with Threat Con? Why does it have to change at all? Really? That's like reinvent the wheel. Here, let's get stupid just so you can have some legacy to get your next to get your next star with or some bullshit. Who knows? That's the way most of us on the enlisted side looked at it. It's like, what? There's no point to it. Just like, just because you don't like the way the name is, political correct PC, that's pretty much it too. Another one. Now, a lot of the guys who enlisted before me, the dress and appearance standard for the Air Force used to be what used to be known as the AFI 35-10. So usually, anytime I heard someone say 3510, I knew they'd been around longer than me, and because the entire time that I was in the service for a good 20 years, the entire time I served, it was not that rig. It was AFI 36-2903. But same difference. Like, why did it change at all? What was wrong with the way it was before? Just because you didn't like the structure of it or the name of it? Come on. It's like, just quit playing around with stuff. Just leave this shit alone. It's some of the other dumb politically correct stuff that would go on. A common term that we'd use for aircraft, like we had an aircraft on the, I think it was C-141 that we would call Balls 15. 0015 was its tail number. So anytime you'd see 00, we'd call it Balls. And then they make an issue out of that. Oh my God, that's sexual. You can't talk about that. You can't talk like that. Well, watch me. And they even wanted us to stop calling a cockpit a cockpit. Come on, are you serious? It's a freaking cockpit. And if you're that damn sensitive, well, fuck off. Get out. You don't need to be there. Yeah, come on. Do you even know what the hell cockpit came from and why the name, why it was named that, or it has cock in it, so it can't be good. That's how stupid some of the policies are, though. You have to call it a flight deck, not a cockpit. Where do we get these freaking idiots from? I don't know. My cat is now watching your stream. Hey! Let's see how your cat responds to dog growls and stuff. Alright, anyway, I don't rant too much about that, but that's some of the bullshit we put up with, where, like, why do you have to reinvent the damn wheel? Just leave it alone. It's fine the way it is. Always has to be some better way to do something, right? There goes that JCT driver. He said his name is James. To look him up. He's been here for 6 years, so, and going on 7, so I'm sure I have his name in my list. I just don't know. Let's see if I've seen his truck before. 3905. I have indeed seen this truck before. I saw it in March. Alright, now clear that filter. Now look for people with the first name of James. I'm a nerd. I admit it. It's a good way to get to know people, though. Alright, he must be James Stalker then. So we have a number of James, but only one of them with 6+ years of experience in less than 7. We got a James with 8 years. Or no, there's 2 Jameses with 6 years. Damn it. One has 6 years, 9 months. The other one has 6 years, 7 months. Another one with 7 years and 5 months. And then 2 of them with 2 years. And then 4 of them with 1 year. Alright, so I can't determine. I didn't ask him what his last name was, so oh well. Anyway, yeah, and speaking of that with JCT, because that's quite a contrast when you come from a training company to a company like JCT, where it's not a small company, but it's not huge either. I mean, we're a decent size. We had 900 or so trucks or something like that. When you're used to Sea or England, where you don't know anybody at all except for the people you trained or people you co-drove with, pretty much, or you might randomly run across them. Hey, how you doing? And people never stay for more than a year there, and a lot of them don't even last a year before they're gone, and you never see them again. Here, we have a lot of drivers who have multiple years of experience with the company. Like that guy James I was just talking to. He's been with JCT alone for 6 years, and not to mention whatever time he's been elsewhere before that. I know a bunch of people here who've been here longer than I have, so it's definitely a different atmosphere. It's definitely a more family-oriented thing, and I'm not going to say it's the greatest place in the world for some people, but it is great for others like myself. So that's why I say that, I always like to, hey, give them a try. If you think it might be up your alley, have that. But if you have like certain particular needs, like if you're a single income earner with a family, it's gonna be a little harder. or if you don't live in an area where we have many loads for home time or something, that can also be a struggle. So, and for God's sake, don't be one of those selfish drivers that just I only do this way or that way. Sorry, don't waste your time coming here if you're gonna drive like that. Don't be that guy who says, I don't run on recaps because I hate running on them. I'd rather do 34-hour resets. Well, if you have the hours, use them. I mean, don't complain when you aren't getting good miles because you're refusing to run on recaps. That's on you then. And you become unreliable for the planners and DMs, and now they're less willing to give you loads that you might actually like because they can't trust you with them. That's plain old truth. The side of this truck says John Christner on it, not Scott Zane. So I drive this truck like it matters, not like whatever I want to do. No, unless it's my name on the side of that truck and my own authority. No. I'm just a glorified company driver is the way I see it. Which is basically a company driver like me, with other responsibilities, and like having to buy my own fuel, pay for my own fuel out of pocket, whatever, and then maintenance issues, of course, I have to pay for. Me and other company drivers don't have to worry about that. They just move the damn truck and get paid for what they do. Easy. So, yeah, leasing a home is not the greatest cup of tea for everybody out here, but I mean it's good for my needs, for what I want to be doing, but you know, me and me share a great example. Yeah, yours are ramble, raggle. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's best to just know what your own needs are, though. That's all I'll say there. Alright, so I still got about 10 more minutes before the camera dealer. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, laziness has nothing to do with that, in all seriousness. It's just a matter of what's right for me, what's right for you, are two different things. That's it. What's right for you is giving me a hard time, and what's right for me is giving you a hard time. How's that? Well, anyway, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go off duty here. Might as well get a 34 started, I guess. Then let's see. Yeah, 1700 or so tomorrow evening, I'll be done, and I don't even deliver until the 24th. Yeah, and that's not until Wednesday morning. So I can't give you a hard time. You'll choke me out in fights. My needs are my own bed and no truck stops. Yeah, that's hard to argue against that. But the experiences I've had doing day cab routes with the sleeper truck, at least, I don't like the lifestyle of a day cabber personally, so it doesn't fit my needs, but I can definitely see why it'd be a great fit for a lot of other people. It's not easy, so I will give you some respect on that, because the times I've done day cab routes, 14-hour shift, I was usually at least 13 and a half hours into my shift by the time I got back to the terminal, and that was when I never even really took an actual 30-minute break. 30-minute break to me is I can crash out and lay down or something, or go get something to eat or whatever. It shouldn't involve me being on a doctor pulling stickers off of pallets. So, and that's what it really was for me. So, like, no, that's too much of a grind for me. I like working, but that's too much of a stressful pace, I'd say. I'd rather work. I'd like to work at that pace when I feel like I can, and when I want to, and not because I have to do 14 hours non-stop every damn day. But yeah, different day cab area routes I get, or counts and all that, or maybe they are different. But yeah, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for my personal needs, and I found that I like the OTR lifestyle more. Doesn't JCT have local near LA? Yes and no. Technically, we're all OTR drivers, but we do have, I don't know how many, not very many who are from Southern Cal, who actually just stay in the local area. Who might just go out to LA or something. So they have their sleeper cab trucks that they either brought with them or they got from JCT, and but all those guys are people who've already been with JCT for at least a few years. You can't be one of the local drivers without being with JCT for at least a few years first, and being someone they find reliable as well. So yeah, we do have them, even out here in Washington, because we have we don't really have a real drop yard out here per se, but we do have one in Pasco. We don't really use it. I think it's more of a use on demand, or a pay for it on demand situation. If I had to guess, we do, from my understanding, have 3 local drivers here in Washington. They only stay here in Washington. They don't go anywhere else. And at least 2 of them I've dealt with, and at least 2 of them I don't want to do any more business with. If I don't need to. If I have to sit for 2 days and I could be moving out of the area, then great. Okay, here, have my load, but they cause me more headache than is worth sometimes. Like the last time I came out here and swapped with that guy in Umatilla. He bobtailed from the Tyson plant. He dropped his empty at the Tyson plant in Wallula, and then bobtailed 30 miles over to me. You can just bring your damn empty with you? Because I ended up having a bobtail back over to Tyson, and then find out that, oh yeah, they don't have any trailers that they could give back to me. And I had to get with my dispatch, and they just told me, all right, go ahead and bobtail over to my shipper in Richland, which is another 30 miles away. So like, I just added an extra 30 miles to my truck because this guy couldn't be bothered to bring me an empty. This is bullshit. So they ended up paying me the extra miles to go out a route like that because of the inconvenience that guy caused me. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what these guys' regular habits are, but I haven't had good experiences on the 2 times I've dealt with the local drivers. They both gave me bad experiences, and I don't like to deal with them. So the California locals, though, I usually am okay with. I don't normally have to do any kind of swap kind of stuff with them, though. But yeah, because we have the drop yard there anyway, and I live real close to the drop yard, so it's another story. But I know who the locals there are. I know at least 2 of them. I think there's another one. I don't know how many exactly they have, but yeah. But yeah, it's something I could consider doing at some point in time if I want to. I just don't know. I don't know. I might. Actually, now I think about it, I know of 3 because I ended up swapping with a guy up north. I had one. I was supposed to head up to Salinas to pick up a load there, but I couldn't get to the shipper on time, or basically before they closed. So they had one of the local drivers go up there with a different empty and go put it in a dock door and basically be checked in and all that. And then I would meet up with him as soon as I could. By the time I got up there, yeah, it was after 6 p.m. and he was already done loading. And it was just, yeah, he hadn't been loaded by that long, but yeah, I just got up there as soon as I could and gave him my empty, took the loaded, and got moving. Not really, no bad experiences there with the California guys. All right, it's about 7, so I'm gonna go ahead and head next. I'm gonna head next door, whatever, get checked in, see what I can get done, and like I said, I'll probably be on a 34 here. I get 7 hours back tonight, and I got 3 hours left on my 70. So, unless I don't see repower happening when I'm 5 miles away from my customer, and it's kind of out of the way. So probably won't be back online until Wednesday. So I guess I'll probably see you guys all then. All right. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks all again for all you guys' help. You too, especially you, Mish, and El Jefe, and anyone else who helped us out. Thanks. See you guys later.